We're going to go into the game, so Ven, you don't get to say who your pick was. We'll come back to that afterwards. But it's time for us to walk into Overpass. Ben's not getting his chance to say anything. We're going to let Vince and Blair do all the talking from now.
Thank you very much, James. Yes, and I'm really looking forward to getting into this game to see what forZe have in store. But Entropiq will be starting on their T side and already funneling 4 of their players towards Monster. They do have Elian, who's just watching the back, and early aggression down in connector. Very centralized, actually. They've met each other with 2 players pushing through B short, so they're going to be able to explode back onto the site. Entropiq now throwing in their utility, about to get hot and heavy. Smoking off sandbags, importantly, though, which will make this flank that much more difficult. They're boosting up on the sandbags, looking to try and peer in for some bullets to heads. Nothing forthcoming just yet. Almeza getting out, aggressively taking the head of Nickelback. The post plant comes in. 4 kills from forZe, Lackey, and Elian. Just light up the scoreboard. And forZe have been doused down.
I don't know what the hell happened there, Vince. That was so quick. I'm a little surprised that forZe weren't able to prevent the plan from taking place. They had a player boosted up on the sandbags, right? So I guess he got spotted out. Maybe he got harassed by the Glocks a little bit too much. But yeah, unfortunate for him, not able to get the bomb down. But Entropiq with the pistol round, where honestly, they should have struggled a little bit there, considering there were 4 CTs lying in wait. Yet, deployed the utility right, they were able to hit the shots as well. And even though Ben didn't have an opportunity to say which team he would be favoring here, I'm going to say it for him. I think Entropiq would have been his pick, right? It was his initial pick as well for the series. And even on this map, I feel like they just seem like the better overall team. And forZe, sure, they won a few wild rounds on that ancient map, and then on the CD side, they just look like the better team overall. But Overpass is a map, as Odesk alluded to, it's a map that everyone's played quite a lot. Everyone should be comparatively comfortable on. And for the side of Entropiq, the fact that they picked this, I'm going to assume that they definitely would be the ones you would have to favor a little bit. That being said, I like this take from them. They're not wasting much time going for a more traditional approach towards a bomb site. But I'm not too sure about Krad just crouching down in this over eager, but it's just the SMG lost, bomb planted, and they're going to have to go for this retake against a rifle. So I actually wouldn't fault forZe too much if they just go in for the save here. They don't even have a kit to work with here, Vince.
They're up so close, though, and I think they've got some confirmed damage that they're going to go in for this, and that's why. Where this is legal, there's always the opportunity. Not that much time on the bomb, though. They got to move on. forZe's locking it down with Nickelback, and it's seemingly like it's going to be a very costly round on the side of Entropiq, but the round will be falling in their favor. However, Blair, 4 players killed and 2 AKs saved for forZe. That is a gigantic take out the round. Yes, they did force. That does need to be highlighted, but they'll know that the economy of the T's is really poor at this point. I wonder if they buy behind these 2 AKs.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised either. Definitely a lot of damage being dealt out there, considering, I just said, yeah, they should probably just go for the save, and what do I know, Vince? The Russian deco comes to play. Hopefully the replay gets sorted out real quickly there. We can hear the audio, but maybe a little bit of a glitch in the matrix. Hopefully it should sort itself out very, very fast, as we don't see the investment, actually, Vince. forZe are going to be exercising quite a bit of restraint. The early nade stack for the sandbags boost won't find anyone, however. The problem is, with the AKs being saved, Vince, it's not just about AKs being saved, it's the fact that the players who have saved the AKs have the Kevlar, right? And that can make all the difference. Aim punch isn't going to be a factor anymore. And the fact that they've also bought helmets means that Galil can't get that one-tap headshot potential, even at mid or close range. So definitely going to be a danger which needs to be dealt with. And Flit, he was spectacular on map number 1. And I wouldn't be too surprised he's able to continue his form here to Overpass. Entropiq going for, again, you know, a little bit of a slower approach initially, and then slowly collapsing on this A-bomb set. Zorte caught out of the position, wide hole from him, and he's going to be punished for that. But Entropiq, they don't really pounce onto the bomb side based off that 1 kill. They still take the due time. Smoke for the garbage bin. Flit and Kenzie having to make contact, and they will make incredible contact. Kenzie tapping away, but someone unable to get the kill. All his shots miss, Vince. That is just so unfortunate, but look at how low they are. Jerry could do this all by his lonesome. The bomb has been picked up, 18 seconds. They need... No, bomb still dropped out in the open. And Lackey has a lot of work to do, but Jerry's going to shut it down. The 2 AKs, it pans out. It works out wonderfully for forZe, and they're going to pick up the first round.
There are so many moving parts of that round that I just absolutely love, Blair. Like the fact that they had a player up close in bathrooms, that was like an early alarm system that was rung out. But additionally, on top of the fact it allowed him to spot multiple players with about 50 seconds to go, what does it do to Entropiq's mindset? They think, well, hold on, if there's 1 player in bathroom, there could be 3. This could be a stack. We have to check all the angles. In doing so, they wasted so much time there, forZe, that by the time the push came in, Entropiq just had to press W. They couldn't afford to check a lot of these angles. They were walking into these crossfires. They were walking into these counter flashes. It was beautiful hold by forward. They didn't even need to fully invest behind those AKs to get it done. And now they fall back into such a good buy. It's a force for Entropiq, and they're being put to the sword by Zorti and the rest of forZe. It's been an excellent turnaround for the CTs.
Zorte was just phenomenal on that in the first half of Ancient, Vince. I felt like he was a difference maker on the T side. They were trailing 7-1. The amount of kills was just opening up the round with an AWP of his, just out-dueling everyone seemingly. Even Elian a couple of times. And if he starts waking up here, the CD side with the AWP, I feel we're going to be in for a treat. And we might even see Vendetta's predictions just go down the toilet. But still, very early days. Entropiq, they still have the lead. Who's there? Unable to really find anyone. But it's 2 early picks for the CD side. One by one, he's about to fall. And bear in mind, Krat just has a deagle, and Lackey has a lot of work to do. We saw him crack open the A-bomb site, rather the B-bomb site in Ancient once earlier. But apart from that, he has been kind of a bit quiet for my liking. And right now, with 20 seconds on the clock, it looks like they're actually just going to be going for the save here. They might be able to... Yeah, there we go. The Galil at least has been retrieved, but they're just going to be holding on to their guns.
Indeed, they will. Gives them a bit of firepower into the next round, but when you consider that everyone else is down at $0 or 50, there'll be very, very little money to play with coming into this next one. So Entropiq have more decisions ahead of them. That's assuming that they're able to hold on to both of these rifles. Flit was thinking about giving chase. He's also looking for some AKs he can trade up to. Can't find them. So we are tied up. And after Entropiq had a bit of a explosive pistol round, 4 kills in about a second, things instead have died down a little bit. Even in that second round that they ended up winning to the bomb, keep in mind, that was the round where 2 AKs were saved. That was the beginning of this turnaround. They couldn't even get their second round where they had tons of rifles to be successful. So they slipped and slided around. And at this stage, I have to call a tactical timeout. They're wanting to get on the same page and figure out where they need to push in with these 2 rifles. Do they go for a force behind it? A couple players maybe in kind of a double eco territory as the T's, which is something you never want to be in.
For sure. And things can easily spiral out of control as well. And I like the fact that they're calling for this attack timeout early on. The thing is, Overpass, you pick it and you try, and usually when you pick Overpass, your opponents will usually opt to start on the CT side, right? But there's always a danger that even though you're comfortable on the map, that he just might get shut down. And then suddenly you have like, what, maybe 4 rounds on the T side, and sometimes that's not enough. Sometimes that it comes down to winning the pistol round and being able to mount that comeback. So it can be scary at times. Again, it's so very dependent on the region and the sort of teams playing this map, because it's a very different approaches you get to see. Which is why I really enjoy watching Overpass, and why I'm enjoying watching Ancient as well, is the different approaches multiple teams have from multiple regions and the different metas that come into play. The contact play, Jerry spots the player out, little information conveyed. NC good for just 1, but Jerry's able to find 2. Brad with a nice trade. Are they expecting Flit? No, they are not. And with that, forZe is going to be left alone. This is a force buy, Vince, and it is just, well, it's done nothing. 3 CTs waiting for them towards Monster. They were trying to catch him off guard, but the trades were fantastic. Flit might fall. No, he won't. He'll deny it. Triple kill from him, a great hold. And forZe, they get the 3rd, and they take the lead.
Yeah, it factors into what I was talking about before the round started, where with 2 saved AKs, but also they obviously lived throughout the entire round. They had no money in their back pocket. They're looking at the economy thinking, Christ, we might have to double eco here. We may as well force behind these 2 AKs, or we at least can dictate a little bit of, control our fate a little bit and dictate the pace. As you say, though, they walk into a stack. A great call from forZe. They're there in position, and suddenly their economy is building up nicely. It's only Kenzie that's a little bit on the low side. Everybody else is starting to feel pretty rich right about now. Jerry's putting his MP9. Great read again of the situation, realizing it would be an E-code up Entropiq. They're down to the last nickels and cents. And it's just straightforward, easy pickings for Zorti and the rest of the troops. Nice play from Jerry. That's the bomb that's down. And forZe looking good to take a 4-2 lead. As such a good turnaround after losing that pistol in the way that they just basically got manhandled.
Jerry might be the only professional MP9 player in Counter-Strike. Like, that's his main gun. He doesn't care if it's a buy or an anti-force or an anti-eco. He's just going to wield the MP9. He's going to be the bank for his team. He's a Swiss bank for his team, Vince, and an unending money pit. It's quite admirable. Look at this. He's got $6,800. He can buy anything he wants. He can go for the auto sniper. He can go for a rifle. No, he knows it's going to be a full buy. But Jerry, the man that he is, the legend that he is like, I'm just going to wield the MP9. I don't need anything else against these fools. And the crazy thing is, Vince, he still seems to come out on top multiple times, even against the rifles. It's kind of insane how good he is with the MP9.
It's a really cool aspect of it as well, and maybe I'm over-analyzing and overthinking this, but when you're the IGL, and especially one that typically does a lot of mid-round calls, and it's very much on the fly, having the MP9 actually allows you on the CT side of a map like Overpass to take these really aggressive peaks, scout for information, and push like that step or two further than you could with an M4. Because you have way more mobility in your approach, your pursuit. So I like the idea, actually. Plus, it's also kind of a double-edged sword in the sense that it's, you know, obviously the bonus round. They've lost the first player over on long, which is a bit of an issue, especially as it's Almeza. And that does facilitate a lot of map control that is now trading hands back in favor of Entropiq. 55 seconds, but Zorti getting aggressive in bathroom. May get punched in by multiple angles. Flash is good, and the follow-up damage is there. Much better from Entropiq, looking to barrel down on the site, but there's a fast rotation in effect. Because of the forward positioning of bathroom again, they can get that early information and try and play off it. Back, removing the head of Flit, then taking out Kenzie. Puts this into a 1v5, and it's that aforementioned MP9 that comes to the forefront. Maybe Jerry can make this a bit more costly. That's all well and good. But Entropiq, surely, this is their round. And they need to keep the rest of these players alive, by the way, because it's not as if their money is great either. If Jerry can even take down another player or two, he's kind of done his job at this stage. Not going to get it done. Good hold by Entropiq in the end. 4-3.
Clinical stuff coming out there from Entropiq. I love how they get the first kill. And Zorte, he went for a very ballsy holder towards bathrooms, right? There was no one nearby, Vince. Firstly, yeah, they double pick Almeza. The flashbang was good as well. This hold towards bathrooms, he should know the moment he gets, if he gets hounded down, there's no possibility of an escape. The teammates, there's no one nearby. The teammate is actually rotating back when still towards near the CD spawn stairs, the back of bank, when he just went for that fight. It was a ballsy play though, and he could have easily got a kill, but the utility usage from Entropiq on that round was just great. First the flash to find Zorte, then a Molotov to make the player feel very uncomfortable towards the truck, towards Optimus, and now the wallbang coming in as well and riddling Zorte down to 28 points of health. Some good stuff from Entropiq, considering it has been looking a little rough, but Jerry replies back with a spam of his own, and the captain will get a little bit of vengeance for his teammates. Zorte's still alive though, so forZe can be left seething a little bit. Lackey's well down to 53 HP, so a good start here for forZe, despite losing the previous one with very, very convincing fashion.
Yeah, those wooden panels aren't one-way traffic. It goes both directions. Flashbang into a boost, and it's a late boost at that, but they whiffed it. That may have just saved their life though. That may have worked out in their favor because they've just been peeked from the connector, pardon me, and the pre-fire was coming in. So I think that actually worked out in forZe's favor, as strange as it may seem. 5 play 4, and not for the first time, Entropiq will be walking on eggshells as they try and attain and ascertain a bit of map control. They're walking over the murky territory of bathroom that's typically yielded multiple casualties. It has been a rough position of the map for them to take control over. And with such little time left, and all the players alive on forZe, albeit 1 HP on Flit, this is looking a little bit dire for Entropiq. They need to explode onto the site. Damage is being inflicted, but they still push on there nonetheless. Bomb hasn't quite transitioned across just yet. Now it's going to be moving in. And Flit smoked off. Will yield the bomb plant bare minimum here, Blair. But this retake could very well be successful.
Flashbang's going to pop out. They might just run on in through the smoke. Indeed, they will. Look like a bit of a fail flash. Indeed, it was a fail flash, but they still will push on out. And Lackey, the crossfire is fantastic. And in a blink of an eye, a second. That's all it took for that retake to just fall apart. A 4v3 started off with a bit of a fail flashbang, Vince, but still, like, once it just popped out, it just got completely slaughtered there. They were gambling on the fact that teams wouldn't be expecting all 4 CTs to come barreling out from the garbage position, the garbage bin position, but no, they were more than ready, and the crossfire was pristine. Losing just 1 man as well in that post plan for Entropiq, and they're going to tie things up. Now, for forZe, they have enough money for a buy. So they're still going to have the weaponry, especially the AWP in the hands of Zorte, which is going to be instrumental. And they're going for a little bit of a switch up here. It's a much more aggressive hold towards Connector. And with that smoke getting deployed, they know that at least one player, one CT holding up close.
The issue with these positions, though, Blair, is when you look at the bigger picture, it's great having centralized control of the Connector. You've completely negated long. And this is a position they've pushed multiple times. The fact that Zorte plucks out Elian, though, is massive in so many different facets, and that may force Entropiq's hand to get aggressive on B site. That entire long aspect of the map is no longer relevant. And Flip gets flashed in. The teamwork is good, but the crosshair placement from Lackey is that little bit step of a beyond. And with 55 seconds, there's enough time for them to pull the trigger and go for the re-rotate. Long early control coming in for Krad, and with no players on A currently, and Almeza making moves on 10 HP, it's looking like we could have a bit of success again for the T's, but they've thought seconds of that opinion, and they're going back over onto the B side of the map. There's Molly's preceding the push. 3 players here. They had the opportunity. Now so much of this rests on Krad's lurk. He has got to get kills from this position. And it may not be good enough because they're hemorrhaging frags elsewhere. Lackey picked out by the AWP. There's only 18 seconds as well, by the way, so now Krad has to get a move on. And although he takes down Almeza with a nice flick, he's lost so much HP, and they've lost the power. They've lost all of the little advantages that they were accruing. 5 seconds to go. Nickelback has to go for the plant. He's going to get peeked. There's no way he can get covered. That's so nearly actually got planted, which is kind of crazy, all things considered. But forZe managed to somehow just about hold on and take the round, but that was a bit of a mess.
That was messy. I felt like I mean, I thought it was going to be rotation as well, like you did, Vince. But then they're like, all right, you got to just come in with the flank, and then we're going to be going in for the wraparound. But they still needed to cross. And of course, when they have Zorte with the AWP holding that particular angle, it was not going to be easy. And also it felt like the timing was really off there. I would have liked them to actually sell that monster play a little bit earlier, and that could have potentially drawn out Almeza. But Almeza, even though he was on 10 HP, Vince, and even though he got taken down, the fact that he was aware of the potential flank just saved forZe right there. Just, it could have still gone wrong in that position. He gets a kill onto Almeza, or he's able to walk on past and get a double kill perhaps. Suddenly the round turns on its head, right? So great awareness for Almeza there. Being the early warning signal. Now he's going to find one. Zorte with the AWP. Good for 2. That's the bomb down. And Elian able to reply back, but they've lost 3 of their comrades. And now forZe looking to pick up a gun. He's going to find an AK-47 bullet lodged straight in his skull, leaving Elian in a 1v4. In his position, it's kind of known as well. He got the trade from the balloons position from Party. So they're like, yeah, it's probably floating around towards playground, maybe trying to walk up towards long. So you have every possible exit has been blocked off. You have Jerry waiting all the way near T-spawn. You have Kenzie holding towards connector. You have Flit towards bathrooms. And if he does opt to head from A long and try and wrap around from the A bomb side, Almeza is going to be ready and waiting. So they have him kind of pinned down here with a little bit of room to maneuver. For Elian, I guess he's just going to try and hold on to his AWP. I like forZe, they're not really going proactively for the hunt, but slowly they are inching ahead. And I do fear, Vince, Elian's days are numbered.
Yeah, Jerry shuts him down. I'm actually not a fan of that smoke that Elian threw. I think that completely gave up that he wanted to try and save, and he wasn't being proactive in that round. And you actually saw an instant reaction. The second that smoke plumed, they couldn't tell exactly where it was, but from the audio cues, they could tell it was either playground or around balloons. Well, okay, that's a kind of angle where Elian could potentially, and by Elian, of course, I mean Zorte here, he could have potentially had quite a lot of impact. So you know he probably wants to save. What do you do with that information? You charge him down. Make sure they have nothing going through into this round 11. And you can see the effect, the impact it has. A Deagle, some P250s, that's it. And forZe have another golden opportunity to extend their lead and start to take a stranglehold over this. They've gone for connected control a lot so far. There's 3 rounds in a row. This time they didn't stack 2 players with the AWP also watching balloons. But it's a slightly different take on the same idea. You control the center of the map, you control rotations. Crad just splatters Almeza though, as he tries to retreat, tries to pull the plug, get back to the site. 1-for-1 trade, now Flit's holding it down from the truck, and he is pivoting in with multiple frags. So important, so crucial for his teammates, because Zorti was in a really sketchy situation. So they maintain 3, and they get another round on the board.
They got caught off guard with the pace being set there by the T side, right? They were holding to its bathrooms. They're like, all right, I haven't seen anything yet. And then they hear the sounds, they hear the footsteps towards long, and they're like, oh crap, we need to head on back because rotation's still going to take a little bit of time. And that's the opportunity for Krat to strike from connector. But Flit is going to be the hero. He was a hero of Ancient, and is looking to continue that particular trend here on map number 2. Looking pretty solid for forZe as they have a 3-round lead for Entropiq. They're going to have the buy. Alien with his weapon of choice as well. He has been a little bit neutered, and Krad just swings out wide bins, and he spots so many players, 2 players lying in wait there. Blinded and taken down. And look at the forward positioning from Jerry. This is huge. But as his teammate slowly evacuates the premises, it looks like Jerry's also gonna follow suit, which is curious. I really felt he was gonna be sticking on around towards connector. forZe does catch Jerry while trying to fall back. Nickelback has snuck his way in as well. And Alien finding Kenzie. This is looking pretty good for Entropiq, despite losing the first man. But Flit is still lurking around the bomb site in the smoke.
The snake in the grass, and it was coiled, and it strikes, but only once. Just enough venom to take down the one player, which leaves Almeza needing the antidote to this 1v2. 50 seconds and forZe has decimated him instantly. There will be no mercy administered. Instantly takes the frag, 7-5. But the previous round losing 2 players may catch up. I don't think either team's economy is necessarily in the best position. But the CTs with a 2-player or 2-round advantage, pardon me, will be going in with a buy. You can see that they've got enough for a purchase, but no kits, no grenades on Zorti, lack of nades on Kenzie, and very little money in supply if this goes awry. So this is a very much a pressure fulcrum point round for me. If forZe lose this, Entropiq bare minimum, probably pull this back to 7-7. Unfortunate for Zorti, though, spots Elian, hits him, but partially through the wall, and that's what saves Elian's life. He drops to 21.
Very fortunate to survive that. But at least Bogdan Slot doesn't have to come into play, Vince, because he's already carrying the AWP. Oh, that's just rough. That's just rough. Krad has been in the receiving end of these wall bangs a couple of times at least. So not only have they tagged on Elian to a point where he's limping, but they've also found Krad. They're making it not a secret at all that his long take is definitely on the cards. Smoke towards the A bomb site, and that's gonna actually draw out a 3rd player towards A. The problem here is this flank. This could be huge. The amazing Almeza could potentially find a double, but he's going to get found out. Now, Zorti with a very aggressive position. He likes taking aggressive peeks, but he's getting hunted down. He's still going to line up the shot, finds forZe. The follow-up is good as well. And despite a little bit of a mistake, a little bit of a whiff from Almeza, Zorte is going to bring this one back. He could still be hunted down by Lackey, though. There you go. The timing was good. Flit needs to get the kill, which he will. But Lackey, with 2 quick taps, now in a 1v2, he knows where Flit is. And if he can neutralize Flit, it's going to be the 1v1 with Jerry still a distance away. Bomb will be retrieved, and Lackey finds yet another one. He knows where Flit was, and he's immediately going to leg it towards the B bomb site, but the time is going to be a problem. 10 seconds. He's going to have enough time to get onto the bomb site and just plant the bomb. But once he does that, he doesn't really have an escape route. Flit has him pinned down, and he is very low, 22 HP, and Flit's going to have no trouble getting the kill. But what an attempt coming in from Lackey there.
It's a really nice attempt, but considering there was 15 seconds and they had the flank up through connector, I'm a bit surprised they played that so aggressively. I feel like they had the perfect positions in that 2v1 to just choke it out, just effectively make it uncomfortable and just let time take its course. But Wasn't to be. They get the clutch anyway. That's at the cost of more lives. As I already touched on, going into the start of this round, the economy was in a rough shape. Losing that many players, 4 in total, still puts them in that mantle. They're down to an MP9. They're down to a FAMAS. They won't have full grenades on all players. They're still feeling the effects. And Entropiq can come straight back in with another buy. So as much as forZe passed the tests in that round, there's still a few more to go before the end of this half.
I have to agree with you there. Like, when you have the man advantage like that, I do question. I mean, if it worked out, it would have been praising Almeza for that flank, but yeah, it just wasn't working. But they still come out on top. That's still good. Zorte with a great spray down with a FAMAS. Good for 2, especially from their position, Vince. The fact that he's able to find a double is going to be pretty happy with that, despite being traded out by Nickelback. And already the flank is on. It's a double flank all the way through Monster, coming towards T-spawn. Almeza, flashback. He's not going to turn around. He's still going to take the fight, and blinded or not, he's still going to get the kill onto Nickelback. And now the 2v3. This is where this flank could go wrong, because they're coming in all the way from T-spawn, completely leaving connector, Vince. And as forZe is able to sneak his way into cons before they spot him, they're going to find themselves an MTB bomb site. Oh my word, the timing could not have been worse for the side of forZe.
The good news, though, for forZe is with the door being closed, that acts as a safety net. It's much like the vents on Mirage through Murder Hole, a position like that. And because of that, Entropiq, they don't have the benefit of seeing what we see. They don't know that forZe is stacking over on the A and middle side of the map, so they're taking so much time. This is time that allows forZe to now come down into connector. The door's been opened. That gives them the information they're looking for. Now, Crad should get the drop. He goes for the reload at the worst possible moment. And even though he wasn't the bomb carrier, it puts forZe into a 1-on-3. And with such low time, he's going to have to fully commit to planting the bomb. That can allow the CTs to get up close. Fakes it out. First frag, not going to go his way. Jerry just pummels him in the head with the AK. And a good hold again for forZe. Entropiq, unfortunate. How they wish they had a bit more information, but it didn't happen.
I love the play coming in from Jerry there. I love how he's like, all right, he looks at the time, he's like, oh, 9 seconds. I can just run on in. And even if he takes me down, that's taken away valuable few seconds. And he's going to be expecting the second CT behind him. And he could have just prevented the plant. But he goes above and beyond by even getting the kill there. Good, great play coming in from Jerry. Even able to upgrade his trusty MP9 to the AK-47. Entropiq need at least another round, I feel, before they're going to feel a little bit comfortable here, Vince. 9 and 5. Their map pick. It was looking good initially. It was still pretty tight game, but forZe, they seem to have just come alive here. And the final round is going to be ending in a B hit. All 5 members of Entropiq is funneling into the bomb site, where Jerry is holding the line. The CTs opt to give up the bomb site and just take the fight post the bomb plant. Alien's doing a good job trying to keep Kenzie at bay, but Kenzie's still going to come out on top. The CTs, they just mow them down. Both of these, complete chaos and pandemonium, but on top are going to be forZe coming out without losing a single man, and a clinical, if chaotic, retake.
I've got to give so much credit to Jerry for that performance. I felt like his calls, pretty much every single round, was spot on. Whether it was stacking sites at the right time, whether it was mid-round calls, he always seemed to have a good idea as to what was coming up. He was reading the script. He was always a step ahead. They rushed the site. They got perfect crossfires established. They got multiple players in water that pop up through the smokes, spray them down. It just never felt as though Entropiq, when there was rifle rounds up and the economies were both stabilized, really had the number of forZe. Like, it just looked a bit easy in certain parts. They weren't clinical enough in the advantages that they got when it came to their bathroom control. And I have to give a special shout out as well to Zorte, because his AWPing on bathrooms was phenomenal. The amount of opening picks he got, the amount of multi-frags he got when he was getting pushed down was second to none. So very, very impressed. He made, honestly, Elian look ordinary, and that is no small feat. Elian is a fantastic AWPer, and yet Zorte just bossed and bullied him around that entire half.
A hallmark of a primary op, or a good primary opper, is how solid they can be on A bomb side of Overpass, right? It's like, classic example, Device, right? Well, what a god, the way he just approaches the A bomb side, even on his new team, even on NIP, he still looked very solid there. And you can easily compare a player like him to some of the up-and-coming players on Overpass, and just kind of, it's a very good gauge point, right? It's a very good barometer as to where they really stand. And so far, Zorti didn't really make too many mistakes. There were a couple of rounds, Vince, where I feel he went for too forward an angle with no backup nearby, but he still was able to make up for it. Aggressive hold from Nickelback. Unfortunately, Flit's going to be the one to crack his skull open with the Glock, but it's all a ruse, Vince. It's a two-man, not really a fake, but a two-man presence towards the monster position, drawing up all the rotation. Lackey looking to take the fight, but Flit's having none of it. 2 bodies now, and the bomb is eventually going to find itself on the A-bomb side, where there are no CTs available. Alien, though, he seems to be aware of this. It's like, wait, we haven't spotted anyone out. As Flit, he was supposed to fake the bomb side. Instead, he finds all the kills. Finally, he will fall, but it's more than done his job, and Alien left alone in a very unenviable position.
And he's had a bit of a slow game as well, hasn't he? He's already shot off multiple shots with this USP. Hasn't connected anything as of yet. 4 players up against him. First headshot comes into effect, but he's being tagged down. Sounded like a goose that must have been through the wall when he lost 10 HP. At the post plant, they're just choking it out. They're watching the key angles. They know where he's coming from. His chances are so very low. No kit as well, by the way, so even if he does carve a path through a couple of heads here, he's not getting this defuse. It's over. It's done. And forZe stamped their authority into the second pistol. And I've got to be completely honest here and straightforward about this. I don't necessarily think it was a bad sort of tactical decision from the T's, but my God, did Entropiq whiff a lot of duels. Like, how many duels did they get into where it was just one player facing one and they came out second best? Like, I don't even think it was the tactic that got forZe across the finish line there. I think it was just very poor aim from Entropiq.
Also, Flit. he's just not missing right now. And Flit's having a hell of a game on Ancient and now on Overpass as well. Is looking fantastic and ably supported by his captain in the form of Jerry. Kenzie and Almeza really haven't had much to do. I mean, they're doing the job, but when all the frags are going the way of Flit, Jerry and Zorte, well, I guess it's just a good day in the office here for the side of forZe. The forZe spy, of course, going to be coming in for Entropiq, and they have exerted a little bit of map control here. I like these forward positionings, as Zorte is going to find a kill onto Alien, but Krad with the trade. Zorte not expecting a player to play up close, but it's him all alone, because the hit is actually going to be taking place towards B, where Lackey once again needs to go hero mode. Nickelback from behind, though. He's tagging them down. So much damage being dealt out. Everyone's bleeding out, and Nickelback, he's finally going to get the kill, leaving it all in Flit to make something of this round, because his teammate has fallen by the wayside, and Flit, his headshots are pristine, it's precise, and he knows Lack is somewhere nearby, and Flit's gonna clutch it out 1v3, the 4K, and he makes it look so bloody easy.
It's great play from Flit, but Entropiq are not following each other up. That's separate peaks. That's 3 separate peaks they went on for a player of Flit's stature, his caliber. You cannot afford to give this guy an inch, because he will rip a mile away. And just like that, the extension comes into play. You just see the way that Entropiq are peeking him one by one. They're allowing him to dictate the pace and outmaneuver them. And a player like Flit is going to make the most of that. 22-7 with well over 100 ADR. The stats speak for themselves, but he has been a powerhouse on both maps in this best of 3.
Absolutely. And if forZe wind up taking this map and taking the series, he has to be the MVP. He has been fantastic. And most of these skills have been getting, Vince, it's not being supported by any of his teammates, right? He's kind of on the lurk, all on his own, just trying to go on a solo man mission, maybe trying to find a kill, and instead winding up getting a casual 4K or clutching out a 1v3. He's pretty much doing everything on his lonesome. But then again, with a caveat, like you pointed out, Vince, that Entropiq are making a lot of mistakes, giving separate 1v1s to a player of his caliber, and they are indeed getting punished for it. Alien with the scout. It's not an AWP. Just would be his weapon of choice, but he is being a little problematic. Taking shots and dealing out quite a bit of damage, but a spam through the smoke is going to force him back to a little bit more of a passive position. forZe, though, trying to be cheeky with MP9. Good for one. Almeza with a quick trade, though.
Yeah, the avenging kill was so important, so integral for them, keeping the pressure applied directly to the head. Alien sent him a shot onto a weakened Kenzie, will yield the frag, but it is forcing him out of position with smokes in his eyes through bank. He can't do anything to stop the bomb plant. And to make matters worse, it's a bit of extra salt poured into the wounds. He's lost his partner in crime, and that's going to be a 13-5 lead. And considering this was a force buy as well, Blair, I honestly don't see Entropiq stabilizing at this point. I'm not going to say it's GG just yet, but you can definitely start to see that it's coming up on the horizon.
I actually want to pick Thorn and Vendetta's brains with regards to these sort of force buys, right? Like, okay, let's try to paint a picture here. It's 12-5, right? You're trailing. It is your map pick. You lose this map, it's going to be a 2-0. 12-5. And I feel like this force buy, for me, it speaks to a weaker mentality, where it's like, guys, we need to stop them winning rounds. We need to break them right now. Instead of just going for the full eco, having enough money for a full-fledged buy, and it's like, it's fine. You're going to get one more round, 13-5, no problem. Once we get our guns, we're going to shut it down. And I feel like there's multiple approaches to that statement I made there. I could be right, I could be wrong, but I would love to hear the desk's thoughts on that particular thing. And what about you, Vince? What do you think about that? Like these sort of force buys. I would completely understand a force buy like this if you had a massive lead, but when you're trailing this badly, and you know if the force buy doesn't work out, the force are going to get even closer to a possible map and series point. I just have to question the decision making coming out from Lackey and his men.
I mean, as a devil's advocate kind of thing, if you have full confidence in your own ability, even if you're down, if you're never out, maybe they felt like they were just good enough players to still win with that kind of a buy. Maybe it's desperation, but maybe it's just supreme confidence. Now, maybe misguided confidence because they ended up losing the round and they put themselves in a really bad position here. But it is an interesting one, isn't it? I think it's probably a case-by-case basis, a player-by-player basis.
True.
Whichever way we spin it, forZe 13-5 in the lead. And keep in mind, there is a lot on offer here for winning this game. There are RMR points. So 5th position secures himself 1,500. 6th position gets none. This is actually a really important game for both these teams. And right now, forZe are on the brink of securing it.
You're 100% right. A lot on the line. Nice tag, though. Alien with a safe scout. Looking for more. He's a dangerous person to trifle with. Another tag comes in. He will be found out, but he makes those pistols' lives so much more easier. They can just tag them down. Nickelback finds one, but Kenzie and Jerry are just going to mop the remaining CTs on the bomb side. Nickelback, though, is going to find 2. Could even find more here. Kenzie is internally bleeding, but he will finally take down Nickelback. That got very hectic, very scary, and very chaotic, but Nickelback will be silenced. And with that, 14-5, forZe 2 away from claiming the series, Vince. Entropiq, they were the pick for the desk. You know, Vendetta went for them rather. Duncan went for the forZe pick because he was like, you know what, they have the upset factor. This doesn't even look like an upset. This looks like forZe just being the better team.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If you told me the percentages, I'd say that forZe were the team that had like 70+% win rate, that they were the firm favorites. I think in all the talent predictions, it was only me and Thorin that went for forZe. And even then, even though I went with forZe, I didn't think it would be this simple and straightforward for them, especially not an Overpass. Like, if we were going to have a complete blowout map, I would say it would be Ancient. I thought Overpass would be super close. And sure, Entropiq with their double ups could still mount a comeback here. They could still put themselves on the radar a little bit and play for a bit of pride. The nature and how these rounds have been going down, the amount of control early on that forZe have taken does not bode well. However, that does. Getting the first pick for the first time in quite some time and a clear kill at that is going to alleviate a lot of the pressure that was mounting, because keep in mind, 3 of these players, because they went for firepower, they prioritized that. They have no grenades left. There are no kits across the entirety of the scoreboard for Entropiq, so they need these early kills to fall in position.
It's an uphill task, Vince. On a volcano with lava pouring down. It's not going to be easy. Oh, Barrel's taking out. It was a bit of a bait there, but Almazer with a fantastic spray finds both the defenders to his bathrooms, and now Nickelback, he's got to go big again. He's got to be the rock star of the round here, and he's going to find the first. That's a great job at Almazer. Triple kill for him. Looking for more. Caught by forZe with his back turned, but he's managed to make the impossible very much possible here. 2v2. But, well, never mind. forZe is going to deny him. And Kenzie now, the 1v2. He's going to get the bomb down. I think he has an inkling where both the CTs are. He's going to take the first duel, a little bit of a pre-fire, 10 seconds. He needs to get the bomb down eventually, but he still wants to take the duels. And indeed, he's going to find one. 6 seconds now. Now he needs to punch in the numbers. And indeed, he's going to do so. Lackey, he's got a second to try and take the duel. But Kenzie with the AK and the clutch. What a round from Almazer and Kenzie. And it looked like finally a round might go the way of forZe, but still they will be thwarted.
Oh, just bag it, tag it. This is over, Blair. This is done. This is a done deal. It's overcooked. Entropiq have been so lackluster on this overpass, but take nothing away from forZe. We called it before. Flit is one of those guys that absolutely can be the X factor. He can just win a game outright. He's had a great supporting cast in Zorti in particular. Almaz's had some huge rounds, but again, this calling from Jerry has been sublime. The mid-round calls are on point. On the CT side, they always seem to have a good read of where Entropiq were pushing in. And now Entropiq, they at least have another buy coming in. It's not down to pistols or MP9s. 4 rifles alongside a scout, but they have to do so much with so little, Blair.
Oh, yeah. This one, I feel you can just call it. I agree with you. Like, it's not even the fact that sometimes you can see a 15-5 scoreline and some of the rounds could be very, very close. You could be like, oh no, this could easily have been like 12-12, 12-11. It's just that a couple of rounds just went the way of forZe, but no, it's just been so crazy how not just as a team, not just fantastic calling from Jerry, Vince, as you pointed out, but also the individuals have looked incredible for the side of forZe. That's a great flashbang, but Kenzie able to get the trade. So now again, back to a 3v3. Oh, and Jerry, he's just running out like a lunatic and he's gonna find both. How does he get 2 kills? How does he get both the kills? How is he not traded? So many questions, Vince, but I fear we don't even have any time to even come up with an answer because this looks like the end. And the nade from Jerry to seal the deal. That was dominant. That was dominant from forZe, and it wasn't even their map pick.
I mean, that passage of play with Jerry getting both frags kind of encapsulates all of the issues that we saw in that map for Entropiq. They never got avenge kills. They were never on point to deliver or make the most of any small lapses in communication or judgment, and they just got punished across the board. That is one of the most one-sided overpasses I have seen in recent times, and that should never have been that one-sided ever on a million years. If it was, it should have been Entropiq just walking away with it, and yet here we are.
Yeah, and we saw them get like 5 rounds on the T side, right? And we're like, okay, 5 rounds is something to work with on when you head over to the defending side. But that CD side was just abysmal. It wasn't just about not really having the right protocol, so to speak, to defend it, but just individually, they just completely fell flat, which is such a far cry because they were able to put up a challenge on Ancient, Vince. For a moment, they were leading 7-1. The first half of Ancient remembered that on the T side, and then to completely just capitulate on their map pick, that's a shock for me.
It's a shock, but is it a shock for the desk? Over to you, boys. What are your thoughts?